Batas Pambansa Bilang 232, Educational Act of 1982. It is an act providing for the establishment and maintenance of an integrated system of education. It is promulgated on September 11, 1982. The legal basis are Constitution of 1935, Article 14, Section 5, Constitution of 1975, Article 14, Section 8, Constitution of 1987, Article 14, Section 1 to 5. The Declaration of Basic State Policy and Objectives. Section 3. Contribution of educational system to the goals attainment of the following national developmental goals. So, it is a policy of state that to establish and maintain a complete, adequate, and integrated system of education relevant to the goals of national development. Towards this end, the government shall ensure, within the context of a free and democratic system, maximum contribution of the educational system to the attainment of the following national developmental goals. Number 1. To achieve and maintain an accelerating rate of economic development and social progress. To assure the maximum participation of all the people in the attainment of and enjoyment of the benefits of such growth, and to achieve and strengthen national unity and consciousness and preserve, develop, and promote desirable cultural and spiritual values in the changing world. So the state shall promote the right of every individual to relevant quality education, regardless of sex, age, creed, socioeconomic status, physical and mental conditions, racial or ethnic origin, political or other affiliation. The state shall therefore promote and maintain equality of access to education as well as the enjoyment of the benefits of education by all its citizens. So the state shall promote the right of the nation's cultural communities in the exercise of their right to develop themselves within the context of their cultures, customs, traditions, interests, and beliefs, and recognize education as an instrument for their maximum participation in national development and in ensuring their involvement in achieving national unity. The Section 4, it aims for the educational system. Number 1, provide for the broad general and education that will assist each individual in the peculiar ecology of his own society to attain his potential as a human being, enhance the range and quality of individual and group participation in the basic functions of society, and acquired the essential educational foundation of his development into a productive and versatile citizens. Number 2, train the nation's manpower in the middle level skill required for the national development. Develop the profession that will provide leadership for the nation in the advancement of knowledge for providing the quality of human life and responds effectively to changing needs and conditions of the nations through a system of educational planning and evaluations. So, towards the realization of these objectives, the pursuant to the Constitution, all education institutions shall aim to inculcate love of country, teach the duties of citizenship, and develop moral character, personal discipline, and scientific, technological, and vocational efficiency. Furthermore, the educational system shall reach out to the educationally deprived communities in order to give meaningful reality to their membership in the national society, to enrich their civic participation in the community and national life, and to unify all Filipinos into free and just nation. Section 6. Educational community. It refers to those person or groups of persons as such or associated in institutions involved in organized teaching and learning systems. The members and elements of the educational community are parents, students, school personnel, teaching or academic staff, school administrators, academic non-teaching personnel, the non-academic personnel, and the school. So the parents or guardians or the head of the institution or foster home which has a custody of the pupil or his student, or those enrolled in and who regularly attend an educational institution of secondary or higher level, or a person engaged in formal study. Pupils are those who regularly attend a school of elementary level under the supervision and tutelage of teacher. School personnel are all persons working for an educational institution, which includes the following: the teaching or academic staff, school administrators. It's either full-time or part-time basis in all levels of the educational system. So sa academic non-teaching personnel, or those persons holding some academic qualifications and performing academic functions directly. Section 8. The right of parents. In addition to other rights under existing laws, all parents who have children enrolled in school have the following rights: the right to organize by themselves or with teachers for the purpose of providing a forum for the discussions of matter relating to the total school program and for ensuring the full cooperation of parents and teachers in the formulation and efficient implementation of such programs. The right to access to any official record directly relating to the children who are under their parental responsibility. Section 9. The right of student in school. In addition to other rights, and subject to the limitations prescribed by laws and regulations, the students and pupils in school shall enjoy the following rights. Number 1. Or first, the right to receive, primarily through competent instruction, relevant quality education in line with the national goals and conducive to their full development as persons with human dignity. Second, the right to freely choose their field of study subject to existing curricula and to continue their courses wherein up to graduation, except in cases of academic deficiency or violation of the disciplinary regulations. The third is the right to school guidance and counseling services for making decisions and selecting the alternatives in field of work suited to his potentialities, and so on. Section 10. The rights of school personnel. In addition to other rights provided by the law, the following rights shall be enjoyed by all school personnel: the right to free expression of opinion and suggestions, and to effective channels of communication with appropriate academic and administrative bodies of the school and or institution. Second is the right to be provided with free legal service by the appropriate government office in the case of public school personnel, and through the school authorities concerned in the case of private school personnel when charged in an administrative, civil, and or criminal proceedings by parties other than the school or regulatory authorities concerned for actions committed directly in the lawful discharge of personal duties and or in defense of school policies. The third is the right to establish, join, and maintain labor organizations and or professional and self-regulating organization of their choice to promote their welfare and defend their interests. And the last is the right to be free from involuntarily contribution except to those imposed by their own organization. Section 11. Special right and or privileges of teaching or academic staff. So, every member of the teaching or academic staff shall enjoy the following rights and privileges. The right to be free from compulsory assignments not related to their duties is as defined in their appointments or employment contracts unless compensated therefore conformably to existing law. Second is the right to intellectual property consistent with applicable laws. Third is teacher shall be deemed person in authority when in the discharge of lawful duties and responsibilities, and shall therefore be accorded due respect to protection. Teacher shall be accorded the opportunity to choose alternative career lines either in school administration, in classroom teaching, or others for purposes of career advancement. Section 14. Duties of parents to help carry out the educational objectives in accordance with national goals. Parents shall be obliged to enable their children to obtain elementary education and shall strive to enable them to obtain secondary and higher education in the pursuance of the right formation of the youth. Parents shall cooperate with the school in the implementation of the school program, curricular and co-curricular. Section 15 is the duties and responsibilities of the student. Every student shall exert his utmost to develop his potential for service, particularly by undergoing an education suited to his abilities, in order that he may become an asset to his family and to society. Uphold the academic integrity of the school, endeavor to achieve academic excellence, to abide by the rules and regulations governing his academic responsibility and moral integrity, promote and maintain the peace and tranquility of the school by observing the rules and discipline, and by exerting effort to attain harmonious relationship with fellow students, the teaching and academic staff, and or other school personnel. Participate actively in civic affairs and in the promotion of general welfare, particularly in social, economic, and cultural development of his community, and in other attainment is just, compassionate and orderly society. Exercise his rights, responsibility in the knowledge that he is answerable for any infringement or violation of the public welfare and of the right of others. Section 16 is the teacher's obligation. Every teacher shall perform his duties to the school by discharging his responsibility in accordance with the philosophy, goals, and objectives of the school. Be accountable for the efficient and effective attainment of specific learning objectives in pursuance of national development goals within the limits of available school resources. Render regular reports on performance of each student and the latter's parent and guardian with specific suggestion and improvement. Assume the responsibility to maintain and sustain his professional growth and advancement, and maintain professionalism in his behavior at all times. He must be professional everywhere, anytime and everywhere. So, number 5, refrain from making deduction in students' scholastic ratings for acts that are clearly not manifestations of poor scholarship. Participate as an agent of constructive social, economic, moral, intellectual, cultural, and political change in his school and the community within the context of national policies. Section 20. Formal education refers to hierarchically structured and chronologically graded learning organized and provided by the formal school system, and for which certified is required in order for the learners to progress through the grades or move to higher levels. Formal education shall correspond to the following levels. Elementary education. The first stage of compulsory formal education, primarily concerned with providing basic education and usually corresponding to 6 or 7 grades, including preschool programs. Secondary education. The state of formal education following the elementary level concerned primarily with continuing basic education and expanding it to include the learning of employable gainful skills, usually corresponding to 4 years of high school. The tertiary education, post-secondary schooling, is higher education leading to a degree in a specific profession or discipline. Section 21. Objectives of elementary education. The objectives of elementary education are to provide the knowledge of and develop the skills, attitudes, and values essential to personal development and necessary for living in and contributing to a developing and changing social milieu. Second is to provide learning experiences which increase the child's awareness of and responsiveness to the changing in and just demands of society and to prepare him for constructive and effective involvement. Third is to promote and intensify the child's knowledge of identification with and love for the nation and the people and to the people to which he belongs. And the last is to promote work experiences which develop the child's orientation to the world of work and creativity and prepare himself to engage in honest and gainful work. Section 22. Objectives of secondary education. The objectives of secondary education are to continue to promote the objectives of elementary education and to discover and enhance the different aptitudes and interests of the students so as to equip him with skills and productive endeavor and prepare him for tertiary schooling. Section 23. Objectives of tertiary education. The objective of tertiary education are provide a general education program that will promote national identity, cultural consciousness, moral integrity, and spiritual vigor, to attain the nation's manpower, and in the skills required for national development, to develop the professions that will provide leadership for the nation, and to advance knowledge through research work and apply new knowledge for improving the quality of human life and responding effectively to changing societal needs and conditions. Section 24. Specialized educational service. The state further recognizes its responsibility to provide, within the context of the formal education system, services to meet special needs of certain clientele. These specific types, which shall be guided by the basic policies of the state embodied in the general provisions of this Act. This Act include work education, practical arts, special education, non-formal education, and that's all. Section 25. Establishments of school. All schools shall be established in accordance with law. The school of new national school and the conversion of existing school from elementary to national secondary or from secondary to national secondary or tertiary school. Section 27. Recognition of school. The educational operation of school shall be subject to their prior authorization of the government and shall be affected by recognition. In the case of government-operated schools, whether local, regional, or national, recognition of educational programs and operations shall be deemed granted simultaneously with establishment. In all other cases, The rules and regulations governing recognition shall be prescribed and enforced by the Ministry of Education. Culture and sports defining therein who are qualified to apply, providing for the permit system, stating the conditions of the grant of recognition and for its cancellation and withdrawal, and providing for related matters. In Section 59, the Declaration of Policy, higher education will be geared towards the provision of better quality education, the development of middle and high-level manpower, and the intensification of research and extension services. The main thrust of higher education is to achieve equity, efficiency, and high quality in the institutions of higher learning, both public and private, so that together they will provide a complete set of programs offering that meet both national and regional development needs. Section 59 also states that to make policy recommendation regarding the planning and management of integrated system of higher education and the continuing evaluation thereof, to recommend to the Minister of Education, Culture and Sports step to improve the governance of the various components of the higher education system at national and regional levels, to assist the Minister of Education, Culture and Sport making recommendations relative to the generation of resources to their allocation for higher education. The Chapter 3, the Bureaus. Section 62. Bureaus of Elementary Education. The Bureau shall perform the following functions. First, conduct, study, and formulate, develop, and evaluate programs and educational standards for elementary education. Undertake studies necessary for the preparation of prototype circular designs, instructional materials, and teacher training programs for elementary education, and to formulate guidelines to improve elementary school physical plans and equipment and general management of the school. Section 63 is the Bureau of Secondary Education. These are the following functions: conduct studies and formulate, develop, and evaluate programs and educational standard for secondary education, develop circular designs, prepare instructional materials, and prepare and evaluate programs to upgrade the quality of the teaching and non-teaching staff at the secondary level, and formulate guidelines to improve the secondary school physical plans and equipment and general management of the school. Section 64, Bureau of Technical and Vocational Education. Collaborate with other agencies in the formulation of manpower plans. Conduct studies, formulate, develop, and evaluate post-secondary vocational technical programs and recommend educational standards over these programs. Develop circular designs and prepare instructional materials, prepare and evaluate programs to upgrade the quality of teaching and non-teaching staff, and formulate guidelines to improve the physical plant and equipment of post-secondary vocational technical schools. Section 65, the Bureau of Higher Education. Develop, formulate, and evaluate programs, projects, and educational standards for higher education. Provide staff assistance to the Board of Higher Education in its policy formulation and advisory functions. Provide technical assistance to encourage institutional development programs and projects. Compile, analyze, and evaluate data on higher education, and perform other functions provided by the law. And the Section 66 is the Bureau of Continuing Education. As the main implementing arm of non-formal education programs of the Ministry, the Bureau shall provide learning programs or activities that shall serve as a means of meeting the learning needs of those unable to avail themselves of educational services and programs of formal education. provide opportunities for the acquisition of skills necessary to enhance and ensure continuing employability, efficiency, productivity, and competitiveness in the labor market. Serve as a means for expanding access to educational opportunities to citizens of varied interests, demographic characteristics, and socioeconomic origins to status.